We now know that Rishi Sunak's replacement as Conservative leader will be announced on the 2nd of November. This is according to the Conservative Party themselves. As we know, of course, Rishi Sunak led the Conservatives to their worst ever defeat on the 4th of July. Now, nominations for those people wanting to go forward open today at 7 o'clock. They actually close after the weekend, 2:30 p.m. on Monday. Now, let's just remind ourselves of what happened. So, essentially, what will happen is once you've got all of those people in, and they have to have the backing of 10 people, they're whittled down to 4 candidates. They then will talk to the party members and do speeches at the Conservative Party conference. Then they're whittled down to a final 2 by the Conservative members of Parliament. Those final 2 are put then back to the Conservative members. Many people like John Rentoul say it's an absolutely blinkingly ridiculous system. Jake Berry, former Conservative Party chairman and friend of this channel, joins us this morning. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning, David. How are you doing?
Yeah, really well indeed. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm loving your show. I've never heard the term autocue bunny before. It brings all sorts of things to my mind, darling.
Well, of course, you're quite a good autocue bunny, weren't you, when you were doing your show here?
I was always bloody terrible at autocue. So anyway,
yeah, excuse the
language. That's why you're sat there and I'm sat
There's no autocue, let me tell you here. So you've written a piece in the Daily Express here where you have a comment piece here. You've said you've had countless conversations with people who are rightly angry with the Tory party and felt unable to support us. And talking really about regaining trust in the Conservative Party. You and I had long discussions about the rise of various political parties, one particular one, but also the Conservative Party. I said to you at the time, the Conservative Party needs to be conservative, and that's how you win trust back.
Yeah, you're right. And I haven't spoken to you since the election, but congratulations on your result. You didn't quite get there, but you should be really proud of getting a really good result. Look, this leadership election needs to be, as you say, about the future. And if the Conservative Party looks, and we've got to spend a bit of time looking at that historic election defeat, we have to accept that it wasn't just Reform who we did badly against. We did badly against all sorts of people. In fact, we lost 5 seats to Reform, but we lost 60 to the Liberal Democrats. And in fact, we lost more voters, unfortunately, to death between 2019 and the 4th of July 2024 than we did to the Reform Party, if you look at some of the analysis that's coming out now. And that's why as we go into this leadership election, we need a sort of a fresh approach, someone who has new ideas, credibility, and is a break with the old guard to give the Conservative Party the opportunity to try and win the privilege of getting back into government.
So I know who you're backing. Who are you backing?
So I'm going to support Tom Tugendhat. I supported him in the previous leadership election. I've always thought he's an individual with huge integrity and the courage to serve our nation in a very positive way. And actually, I know that people may say someone like me who's on the right, sometimes been described as being on the far right of the Conservative Party. They might be surprised I'm supporting Tom, but David, I think the time has come for the Conservatives to move beyond these faults of divisions. And I first got to know Tom Tugendhat when he worked with me to oppose Boris Johnson's tax increases for national insurance. And he is a very fiscally and socially conservative individual who I believe has the courage and the integrity to lead our country and have a bit of a break with the old guard in the Conservative Party.
I mean, the problem you've got, and you know this better than me, it's not one party, is it? It's 5, 6, 7 different parties with people like the Conservative Growth Group, New Conservatives, the ERG. So you're really you need someone who will bring all of those groups back together and galvanise the Conservative Party. One of the other things that you said that's fascinating is about people dying. So we know traditionally the Conservative Party had a lot of older members. And of course, the other issue for you is how do you attract young voters? One of the things that strikes me about Reform is the number of young people joining Reform, 18 to 24-year-olds.
Well, I haven't seen the numbers. I know you probably will have done, but our electoral appeal at the last general election was far too narrow. And that's one of the reasons I'm backing Tom. I think he does. I think there's some phrase they use, I can't remember what it is, but it's something about being a yummy daddy or something like that. But he's a young family man and centrist dad, I think that's what they call him. He's a young family man. Look, he's got kids like me. He understands all the challenges that people face buying a home, paying for childcare. And they are the voters that the Conservative Party needs to appeal to if we want to win back the privilege of representing our nation as its government.
Why don't you want James Cleverly?
Look, James is a fine individual, but, I think Tom would be better. So I'm going for the person, if he stands, who I think is going to be the best candidate. But also, I think a bit of a problem with James is the fact that he's been Home Secretary when immigration is clearly an issue that we lost, amongst the main issue we lost the general election on. Now, in all fairness to James, I think immigration was a complete mess before he became Home Secretary. So I don't blame him for that. But I do think we need an alternative to the old guard. He is someone I very much associate with the government, a bit like me. I'm the old guard. They associate with the governments of Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, in his case, Rishi Sunak. And I just think the Conservative Party needs a debate about its future and to have a fresh start with someone who has been in the cabinet, is still relatively new to the public, but also will represent the core Conservative values, which is what I know Tom does believe in, is much more appealing as you go beyond the Conservative membership and try.
Jake, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Jake Berry, their former Conservative Party chairman.